All right, Shalom. All praise to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, great millstone who rule well. Peace and salutation to you, brothers, who feel like pushing His word in truth and sincerity. All right. This video here is 300 is greater than 135,000. All right. Yeah, you heard it correctly. 300 is greater than 135,000. All right. So, in this particular lesson here, we're going to just kind of really talk about faith. All right, because faith is paramount. Faith is important. All right, faith is the most important thing you can have in this thing of ours. All right. So, we're going to get an example of faith and why faith is important also. But first, we're going to get what the definition of faith. All right, this is Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. It says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So what is the substance of things hoped for? All right, we hope for the kingdom. We hope for the miracles. We hope that our works be seen, you know. Okay, we hope to be saved. We hope for all these things that we look for, that we, living here, especially in Babylon the Great, being surrounded by the evil and wickedness that we're surrounded by. We can't see these things. Okay, this is why it says for the evidence of things not seen, because the things that are not seen is literally our evidence of what we hoping for. All right, when we read in these scriptures about the kingdom of heaven, okay, we don't see it, but we hope for it. Okay, but we see it through the spiritual eye, but we don't see it through the physical eye. Okay, when we read of the downfall of Babylon the Great, but nowadays we're seeing it now, but of course back then they didn't see it. Okay, they didn't see it physically. All right, but we do see it spiritually. Okay, so the evidence that we have is actually the evidence of the scriptures. Okay, that's our comfort. All right. But it says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen, for by it the elders obtained a good report. You want to have a good rapport with the Lord, you got to have faith. That's the only way you have a good rapport with the Yahweh Shai. All right. But I'm going to skip down here in verse 32. Because we're going to talk about Gideon. All right. Verse 32 says, and what shall I say more? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon, and of Barak, and of Samson, and of Jephthah, and of David, also, and Samuel, and of the prophets, who through faith, for by it the elders obtained a good report, who through faith subdued kingdoms, they wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. Okay, see that? Through faith, where all these things happen for these our elders. Okay, all right. But I want to bring out the example of Barak. Gideon. Okay. So this is Judges chapter 7, and let's see. I'm gonna start at verse 1. It says, then Jerubbaal, who is Gideon, and all the people that were with him, rose up early and pitched beside the well of Harod, so that the host of the Midianites were on the north side of them by the hill of Moreh in the valley. And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people that are with thee are too many for me to give the Midianites into their hands. Why did he say that? Well, he goes on to explain why. Lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, mine own hand have saved me. All right. So when the Lord does things for us, he gets the credit. He gets all the credit, all the glory, everything. Okay? We have no reason to vaunt ourselves, to be proud, to be boastful, to be anything, because everything that we get and everything that we have, everything that we are, whatever, it all comes of the Lord. Okay? You're breathing because of the Lord. You're seeing because of the Lord. You're hearing because of the Lord. You understand, you perceive these things. You understand these scriptures, you perceive. You have the eyes to see and the ears to hear because of the Lord. You have wisdom because of the Lord. You're poor because of the Lord. You're rich because of the Lord. Everything that happens on this earth is because of the Lord. Simple as that. But the point here, it says, "Lest Israel vaunt themselves against me, saying, mine own hand have saved me." Okay, so logically speaking, looks like we were more in number than the Midianites. We had more people than they had. So thus the Lord said, hey, we're going to cut them down. But he said, that's too many. That's too many people. Then it says, least they shall vaunt. Let's get that word vaunt to see what it says. All right, it's the Hebrew word pa'ar. It's pa'ar. And it says, least they shall vaunt, right? Okay. So at least they glorify themselves. They adorn themselves. They beautify themselves. To glorify oneself. To glory to oneself. To be glory. To go over the boast. All right. To boast. Also to explain. All right. But to be boastful. Okay. And glorify yourself. All right. The Lord wants the glory. The Lord deserves the glory. All right. But this is why he said that our people were too many, because we were more in number than the Midianites. All right. Verse 3. Now, therefore, go to proclaim in the ears of the people, saying, whosoever is fearful and afraid, let him return and depart early from Mount Gilead. And there returned of the people 22,000, and there remained 10,000. So 22,000 people left. All right. And there remained 10,000. All right. So within that, we're actually looking at the numbers. There were more Midianites, looking at the numbers from what it started with, but there were a lot of Israelites, who were obviously, the Lord would take care of them. Okay. But he wanted to cut that number down to really, really show his power. Okay. But it says, and there remained 20 and 2,000. And there remained 10,000 of the 20 and 2,000. All right. So 22,000 left, and 10,000 remain. All right. But anyway, so basically those that were just scared and didn't want to fight, you can go. And that was 22,000. All right. And the Lord said unto Gideon, the people are yet too many. Bring them down unto the water, and I will try them there for thee there, and it shall be that of whom I say unto thee, this shall go with thee, the same shall go. And whosoever I say unto thee, they shall not go with thee, thee shall not go. So he brought down the people unto the water, and the Lord said unto Gideon, every one that lappeth the water with his tongue as a dog lappeth, him shalt thou set by himself. Likewise, everyone that boweth down upon his knees to drink. And the number of them that lappeth, putting their hand to their mouth, were 300 men. But all the rest of the people bowed down upon their knees to drink. Okay. So once again, like in wartime. Okay. So those who basically put their face in the water. Okay. Not paying attention to what's going on in your surroundings, rather than those who put their hand to the water and brought it up to their mouths. Okay. Those were the ones who the Lord took. So it says, and the Lord said unto Gideon, by the 300 men that lapped will I save thee, will I save you, and deliver the Midianites into thine hand, and let all the other people go, every man unto his place. Okay. So the Lord cut the army down to 300 men. Now imagine going to war with I'm gonna use this term now. Imagine going to war with a mere 300 men. Now let's see how many of those 300 men were up against. All right. So this is Judges chapter 8. I'm going to start at verse 1. And the men of Ephraim said unto him, why hast thou served us thus? And that thou callest us not when thou went to fight the Midianites? And they did shy with him sharply. And he said unto them, what have I done now in comparison of you? Is not the gleaning of the grapes of Ephraim better than the vintage of Abiezer? Most High have delivered into your hands the princes of Midian, Oreb, and Zeb. And what was I able to do in comparison of you? Then their anger was abated toward him, and when he had said that, and Gideon came to Jordan and passed over, he and the 300 men that were with him faint, yet pursuing them. And he said unto the men of Succoth, give, I pray you, loaves of bread unto the people that follow me, for they be faint, and I am pursuing after Zebah and Zalmunna, kings of Midian. And the princes of Succoth said, are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna in thine hand, that we should give bread unto thine army? And Gideon said, therefore, when Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua have delivered Zebah and Zalmunna into mine hand, then I will tear your flesh with the thorns of the wilderness and with the briars. And he went up thence to Penuel, and spake unto them likewise. And the men of Penuel answered him as the men of Succoth had answered him. And he spake also unto the men of Penuel, saying, when I come again in peace, I will break down this tower. And Zebah and Zalmunna were in Karkor, and their hosts with them, about 15,000 men. Okay, 15,000. All that were left of all the hosts of the children of the east. And if you go back to that Judges, you can hold on to that. Where is it at? His boys with them early and pitched beside the weather here. Host of Midianites on the north side of it. Trying to find where it said that they pitched in the east. Could be wrong. I may have looked at that different. Okay. I remember reading that they had pitched in the east on the north side. Okay. All right, Salaki, that's my mistake. Okay, well, let's get back to it. Judges 8 and 11. And Gideon went up by the way of them that dwelt in the tents of the east of Nobah and Jogbeha, and smote the host, for the host was secure. Okay, so it said there were 15,000 men, all that were left of the host of the children of the east, for there fell 120,000 men that drew the sword. So you got 15. So you got 120,000 men that they took out. So these 300 men took out 120,000, and you still had the 15,000 that were left. All right. Then verse 11 says they went up by the way and they dwelt in the tents of the east, and they smote their hosts. So the ones that were left, the 15,000, they went and got them. So 15 was 120. That's 135,000 men. So this is why I said, but they did all of that through faith. Okay, 300 versus 135,000, and 300 overpowered 135,000. All right. So let's get this real quick. This is Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord, Yahweh Shai, with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. 300 versus 135,000 seems like it's less than 135,000. But that's my own understanding. Okay? It's 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 7, straight to the front. For we walk by faith, not by sight. That's why I said 300, it seems like it's less than 135,000, but in the Lord's eyes, it was greater than 135,000 at that point. All right? Why? It was all through faith. At the end of the day, it's all through faith. through faith, if you got faith, it'll make your whatever you doing, it'll make it greater than anything. Nothing can actually be compared to faith. Let's get this. Matthew chapter 19, verse 26. But Yahushua beheld them and said unto them, with men this is impossible, but with the Most High all things are possible. You know what all things are? Meaning all things. Meaning nothing is impossible. Okay? If all things are possible, that means nothing is impossible. Alright? But it happens through faith. So through faith, 300 is greater than 135,000. Alright? So call all Yahweh Shem Al Shah, Shem Al Dash will be edified. Shalom.